Sorry about that, just adjusting the camera there. But I wanted to come on here because I was just watching a video um, that I did about 6 years ago. And the reason I got to thinking about this is one of the things that caught my attention as of late is Mondo Media or Mono Media. And long story short, Mono Media on various video uploading sites has uploaded what he calls, or they call, the Saturday morning lineup for certain years. And sometimes they give it a theme, and sometimes it's just a remix, stuff like that. And it's actually pretty good because they actually do what they can to replicate what it may have been like watching Saturday morning cartoons, during that time period with certain cartoons that, showcased. Some not, except for intros and outros due to copyright reasons. But one of the shows that would get recommended was YoYogi, and the reason for that is because one of the shows involved in one of the remixes or replica lineups was Pink Panther and Sons, and I do remember watching that as a kid, not very fondly, but I do remember watching it, and I do have the series completely on DVD, thanks to, I think, iOffer and places like that. But it got me. But again, like I said, one of the shows that was recommended for that was YoYogi, and I recall doing a video, and I actually looked it up 6 years ago, asking whether or not YoYogi, deserved the backlash that it got, and honestly, in my opinion, folks, as I just make sure everything's still going there, because the battery's kind of low on the phone here. Honestly, in my opinion, folks, I still stick by what I believe there. I don't think YoYogi, which is another series I have on DVD. But by the way, if you want to watch any of them, Pink Panther and Sons is on the official Pink Panther YouTube channel, and YoYogi is on the Boomerang streaming service. But anyway, I like I said, I stick by what I said there. I think honestly, YoYogi was brought out at a time where the popularity of turning a lot of the established characters that we grew up with into young, teenage-fied, young, baby-fied, kiddified, excuse me there, versions of themselves had long passed. I mean, you still had a pup named Scooby Doo going on, but I think it was in its final year. And Flintstone Kids was done. Tom and Jerry Kids was just starting up, but it didn't last long after that. I think it was like the final run that Hanna-Barbera would have alongside YoYogi. And they were a Fox show at the time, but still, even I think they lasted like a year or two or three, and that was it. So YoYogi and Tom and Jerry Kids were like the last fling at this attempt. The only problem with YoYogi was the series was put on the NBC network in its final year of doing actual Saturday morning cartoons before transitioning to what would be known as TNBC, which was short for Teen NBC is what it was short for. Basically, trying to aim the programming at teenagers and stuff, along with newscasts and everything that comes before. So, YoYogi was just put into a situation like with Wish Kid and Pro Stars and Space Cats and such. It was put into a situation to where it was basically a no-win situation, period. Unfortunately, even though it could have been picked up for a rerun, if you will, on another network, because a lot of Saturday morning cartoons, which began on one network, would continue on another network, even if it was through reruns. YoYogi didn't get picked up, unfortunately. And, I think if had it been picked up, I think it probably would have gained an audience. I think people would be behind it, would have supported it. And to me, it's a show that's very underestimated, very underrated. I mean, yeah, I mean, were there moments and, of cringiness and jokes that didn't really like hit home runs and everything, and, sequences that didn't need to be in 3D and all that? Were those kind of things that help kind of hammer it down a little bit, kind of push it down a little bit, that, they could have like done without or changed up or something? Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, I think what they were trying to do was they were trying to basically see what would stick. They saw the success Pup Named Scooby Doo had. They saw what Flintstone Kids had. They knew potentially what they had with Tom and Jerry Kids up the road, as well as they saw what Muppet Babies was doing. And they're like, man, if we could do that with Yogi, that might be something. But I think what really hammered it down a little bit wasn't just the fact that it was underrated and underestimated and, not really given a chance to shine or anything. I think it's the fact of the premise. And the premise was you were taking characters, established characters, like Yogi and Cindy, and you were turning them into teenagers. Instead of basically saying, here's Yogi Jr., here's little Sin Sin, if you will. Basically saying that, hey, they're the kids of Yogi and Cindy, or something like that. Instead of going in that route, they decided to de-age the characters. And I think what really hurt it as well, and I believe I've mentioned this before and others have talked about it, is you had you had other established Hanna-Barbera characters show up that were the regular age. Crickstraw McGraw, Doggy Daddy, Magilla Gorilla as Magilla Ice, what else did you have? Adam Ant and a few others. And it just didn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, you kiddified other characters like Snooper and Blabber and Secret Squirrel, don't get me wrong. And that was great, the way they portrayed them as kids. It actually made sense. But some of the other characters didn't. Top Cat wasn't put into that position, even though I said that the first time I talked about this show here on YouTube. Top Cat wasn't put into this position. Other characters weren't. And it just, I think that's what kind of really hindered it in a big way. I think had they decided to kiddify all the characters to kind of make it feel more balanced, I think it would have worked. Or maybe if they would have aged them up a little bit more to where they were older teenagers and you could still do the same stories and stuff with them, and then you have all the other characters show up and they're like young adults, older teenagers too. Again, it would be more balanced out than what we got, I think. And I think that's what kind of hurt it in the long run. I mean, you look at Jellystone now, and that series is very popular due to the fact that even though it's gender swapped a lot of characters, mostly male into female, it works because there's a balancing out, and nobody is, different from anybody else. No one is, like this or like that. Even if you age a character up or so, and make them older than what they are, it still feels more balanced. It still feels like, things make more sense. So, to me, I think, like I said, YoYogi was just put in a position at a time where it was on a network that was pretty much getting rid of its Saturday morning cartoon lineup in favor of its teen morning lineup, and also the fact that the flair, what was it, the flair, the trend of doing the younger version of characters was slowly wearing off. And combined, like I said, with them being put on a network that was getting rid of its cartoons block the following season, as well as, I think, basically unbalancing things with characters, established Hanna-Barbera characters being older than, what Yogi and Cindy and Boo Boo and Huckleberry and all of them were portrayed as, I think just didn't work. And, it didn't work. Well, yeah, it didn't work, but it didn't help its cause. But when you look back on the show now, I think you'll see that it is a very underrated, underestimated show, because I think it's good. I think it's really good. And if a show like that was ever given a chance to be revived, even for like at least one more season, nowadays, I think people would be willing to give it more of a chance. I mean, look, nobody thought Jellystone would be the hit that it is, and look at us now. We're eating crow, if you know what I mean. But let me know what your thoughts are. How did you feel about YoYogi? Do you think it got a bad rap, or well, not just a bad rap, but do you think it got put into a position that it didn't need to be put in when it came out? Like, basically put onto the final animation block of a network that was focusing more, transitioning more to the teen block. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think the imbalancing of the aging of characters didn't help out? How do you feel about it? Let me know down below in the comments as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video, super chats, super stickers, and super thanks are open and would be appreciated that way, guys. And until then, God bless, take care. I'm going to try to get some sleep now. As you can see, I'm stumbling over my words. It's late. But until next time, guys, I'm out.